Elon Musk, you didn't create USAID. The United States Congress did for the American people. Elon Musk, you don't control the money of the American people. The United States Congress does, and we control it with meaningful spending. Like $330 million to Afghanis to help them grow crops, because how else are we supposed to get heroin in the States? Or $20 million for an Iraqi version of Sesame Street. Or $15 million for condoms to the Taliban, because who wants terrorists reproducing? Yeah. Or $2 million for sex changes in Guatemala. Cortades los huevos. Yeah. Or $50,000 for trans opera in Colombia. To be or not to be trans. That is the question. Wait, don't leave. We gave $9 million to Syria for humanitarian aid. But the money wound up going to Al-Qaeda instead. Guys, wait. Come back. Come back.
Hey, what's your name, bro?
Hey, Steve.
Hey, let's go see if any Taliban condoms are left over.
All right.
Yeah, I like your sign.
Hey, thanks, man.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Mr. President, I wonder what you make of the criticism from Democrats that these staff reductions, the cuts that Elon Musk and DOGE are doing are an unlawful power grab. And is there anything you've told Elon Musk he cannot touch?
Well, we haven't discussed that much. I'll tell him to go here, go there. He does it. He's got a very capable group of people. Very capable. They know what they're doing. They'll ask questions, and they'll see immediately as somebody gets tongue-tied that they're either crooked or don't know what they're doing. We have very smart people going in, so I've instructed him go into education, go into military, go into other things as we go along. And they're finding massive amounts of fraud, abuse, waste, all of these things. So, but I will pick out a target and I say go in. There could be areas that we won't, but I think everything's fertile. You know, we're a government. We have to be open. And as an open government, I don't know, I guess you could say maybe some high intelligence or something, and I'll do that myself if I have to. But generally speaking, I'll just say go. But he will be looking at education pretty quickly, and he will be looking at military too.
Elon Musk says it is, quote, a viper's nest of radical left Marxists who hate America. Supporters say it saves lives and projects American power and influence. So what is USAID? Well, the United States Agency for International Development was set up in 1961 by President John F. Kennedy.
If we were not so heavily involved, our voice would not speak with such vigor. And as we do not want to send American troops to a great many areas where freedom may be under attack, we send you.
By 2023, it had a budget of $40 billion, covering an estimated 120 countries. But on his first day in office, Donald Trump implemented a 90-day freeze on foreign assistance, taking quite a different view from JFK.
The whole thing is a fraud. Very little being put to good use. Every single line that I look at in terms of events and transactions is either corrupt or ridiculous.
Okay, when USAID started when John F. Kennedy was in power, it was probably a good thing, and the intentions of it were for good purposes. Well, along the way, throughout the years, we have different people that have stepped into the positions working at USAID, and corruption took over to the point where people were sending money to places around the world for unnecessary things. And now, after DOGE has been created, now they're digging into what exactly was being spent and where and who to. It has to be eliminated. Makes sense to me.
Now, more than 10,000 people had been employed by the agency, but that workforce will now go down to a skeleton staff of just 611 essential workers. And the USAID website is now down with only this message saying, in order to be consistent with the president's executive orders, this website is currently undergoing maintenance as we expeditiously and thoroughly review all of the content. Now, this is the sort of content that puts USAID in Trump and Elon Musk's sights. The White House highlighted these specific programs, the pet projects of entrenched bureaucrats, as it called them. Among them, $47,000 allegedly spent on a transgender opera in Colombia, $70,000 on a diversity-themed musical in Ireland, and $2 million for sex changes in Guatemala. Now, these claims are all quite controversial in themselves, as are others. For instance, one account on X alleged that Ben Stiller and other actors have been paid by USAID to do photo calls with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Elon Musk himself retweeted that, but Ben Stiller has rejected that accusation completely. And actual funding recipients that have riled Musk include mainstream media outlets like Politico, as well as the BBC's international charity, BBC Media Action. All of these, though, are cherry-picked examples. They're also very small pieces of fruit in the overall pie. This shows where all that money goes. It includes USAID, but other sources of US foreign aid, $70 billion in total. You can see the largest chunk goes to economic development, then you've got peace and security, humanitarian assistance, health down here at the bottom. And Ukraine is the top beneficiary by quite some. And Ukraine...
Okay, look at this. Oh, I don't know if you guys can see. Look at this chart. So, education and social care, 2%, 1.9% for the environment. I don't know if you guys can see it at the bottom right there. 1.9% environment. The Democrats are always harping about the environment, climate change, this, that. And they're supporting USAID and not even knowing that it's not even supporting one of their main focuses, which is the environment. Man, they don't know what they're talking about.
Economic development, then you've got peace and security, humanitarian assistance, health down here at the bottom. And Ukraine is the top beneficiary by quite some way at the top there of USAID money, followed by Israel. Military aid to Israel is exempt from this. Now, how is that money all spent? Well, it includes funding for media, in this case, independent outlets to counter Russian information efforts, but also more tangible things like prosthetic limbs for amputees in Ukraine, $150,000 of aid towards a contract to supply those. Or go to South Africa. It alone received $440 million. Much of that goes to HIV programs. At least 8.5 million people living with HIV, they are reliant on USAID money. So whatever arguments can be made about individuals with HIV, they are reliant on USAID money. Received $440 million. Much of that goes to HIV programs. At least 8.5 million people.
HIV programs in Africa? South Africa? What did they solve HIV over there in South Africa? I don't get this. All this freaking money should have been distributed to the American people.
USAID has gotten a lot of attention in the last couple of days with some of these bizarre things that we've been, taxpayers have been funding. Now it looks like there are a couple media outlets that have been dragged into this conversation as far as USAID funding as well. Does the president have any comment on that?
So upon coming out here to the briefing room, I was made aware of the funding from USAID to media outlets, including Politico, who I know has a seat in this room. And I can confirm that the more than 8 million taxpayer dollars that have gone to essentially subsidizing subscriptions to Politico on the American taxpayers' dime will no longer be happening. The DOGE team is working on canceling those payments now. Again, this is a whole of government effort to ensure that we are going line by line when it comes to the federal government's books. And this president and his team are making decisions across the board on, do these receipts serve the interests of the American people? Is this a good use of the American taxpayers' money? If it is not, that funding will no longer be sent abroad, and American taxpayers will see significant savings because of that effort.
I am so glad that DOGE is finding all the receipts in the government to expose all the corruption that the past administrations have used against the American people, basically. And my question is, these reporters need to ask her exactly how the American people are going to get to see something change within the American citizens. Now, she just said, what did she just say?
Not, that funding will no longer be sent abroad, and American taxpayers will see significant savings because of that effort.
We'll see significant changes. How? How exactly? We need specific information on exactly how the American people are going to get benefit back from these past years of the corruption.
Another executive order the president says he signed to cut costs has also hit a legal roadblock tonight. As WBZ's Tammy Mutasa shows us, disputes over USAID may be jeopardizing food shipments from Boston that Congress earmarked for people in need.
Yes, people in need. Where exactly in the world is this food supposed to go to? We need to start looking at the receipts and seeing, hey, are we supposed to be doing this? Yes or no?
I guess 97% of the people have been dismissed.
A federal judge stepping in to temporarily prevent the Trump administration from dramatically slashing USAID, the government agency responsible for delivering foreign aid. The judge ordered at least 2,200 employees must stay on the job. President Trump says the cuts are needed.
We have to take some of these things apart to find the corruption, and we found tremendous corruption.
Still, Senate leaders say the move is impacting critical USAID food shipments stuck in limbo. A congressional aide tells CBS that 29,000 tons of food worth $39 million is just sitting in USAID warehouses in Houston waiting to be shipped out. That aide says there's food waiting to be loaded in Boston and 7 other port cities.
Given the situation, USAID, it's a deeply valuable organization. It's got measurable impact. I think it's short-sighted to interrupt its work.
Ashley Stanley is the founder and CEO of Spoonfuls in Boston. The food recovery organization sees firsthand what happens when food is wasted.
When the food doesn't get to where it needs to go, it winds up in a landfill, and that has devastating effects.
The food aid that's stuck is produced all over the country, including ready-to-use therapeutic food produced in Rhode Island, which treats severe malnutrition in children.
We have a supply of food. People are starving. People are suffering. It is our responsibility. It is on us to make sure that it can get to where it needs to go. And so figuring out, again, that piece of distribution and how to allow this food to continue moving in that direction is extremely important right now.
Now, the federal judge who granted the order to keep the USAID workers employed pressed government lawyers for evidence of corruption at the agency, but no evidence has been provided yet.
A federal judge has blocked Elon Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency from accessing the Treasury Department's central payment system. The injunction issued early this morning comes after 19 Democratic states sued President Trump for allowing Musk's staff access to the system, arguing it's a violation of federal law. Now, the payment system handles tax refunds, Social Security benefits, and contains a large network of Americans' personal and financial data. The judge set a hearing on the case for next Friday, February 14th. The Trump administration has not responded to the suit.
Well, the Democrats are suing, majority of the states that are Democrats are suing the Trump administration because they know that more exposure of corruption is coming out, and they're not liking it because a lot of them are probably doing some things that they weren't supposed to, and everything's getting exposed, and it's all going to be coming out sooner or later, and the American people want to know, need to know, and should know. I mean, I'm all for it. Let's see what the upcoming few weeks come about and what else we find. Everything we found so far from DOGE has been completely ridiculous with what we've been doing with our money, what the government has been doing with our money. So let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe. We just hit over 100. We're at, 130 subscribers. I really appreciate everybody that subscribed. Thank you guys so much. If there's anything that you guys would like to send me so I can react to, go ahead and leave it in the comments. I'd appreciate it. Until next time, guys, peace out.